All right, so DeLupus is using the zoom out mod for his ship here. This is the tier 7 Nagato. Domo arigato, Mr. Nagato. I personally hated grinding up this ship line when I first started it. Absolutely hated it. But I got a little bit more used to it. And as a result, I think, you know, I'm better with it. The second time around, I was better with it. The first time, I couldn't hit crap with it or anything like that. Okay. So, we waited to start for the ads to end, and then DeLupus is sitting here, not moving. I loved Kongo. Fuso was fine. Nagato was hell. I loved Fuso as well. Fuso to me was peak, and the Amagi, but I like the shotgun style Japanese battleships more than the sniper style battleships. Nagato teaches you basically more sniping than anything else. Banned for AFK. I see. Now that's the thing, Daystepper. I don't know what it was about the Colorado. I fell in love with that ship. Now Nagato's got 4 10mm guns. They're slightly bigger than the Colorado's 406s. Does it really have an impact? Probably not. But Nagato's a little bit faster as well at 25 knots. You allow sniping for 24 kilometers. I mean, you can definitely do that. The hard part is hitting those targets, right? You have to focus on people that are, like, stopped dead in their tracks. Yeah, I used to call it the Colorado. Now, I played the Colorado back when you can build secondary build Colorado and get those secondaries out to 7.2 kilometer. Back when the Colorado had HE secondaries and the Nagato, for example, had AP secondaries. And I loved it because I turned that into my early warning system. If I heard the secondaries go off, I knew there was a destroyer within 7.2 kilometer, and it saved my bacon a couple of times. You learned it without dynamic crosshair. Same here. Can't wait for the changes to the US battleships. I see what you did there. All right, here we go. Zoning in. Now, this is a standard battle. And in general, with standard battle, I don't like going hard on one flank. I like playing more central to see what people are doing. I'm curious, DeLupus, why you did not take that shot there. You had a really good shot opportunity. And now the Königsberg is turning away. You'd need to pop your plane if you want to hit him. There he goes. Now, for some odd reason, he's not turning super far away. And you're not detected as... Nope, now you are as you fire. Big brain time. Hill is smoking up, looks like. Now, you're not following your shots. You're expecting those shells to do nothing. Trying to line up for your next salvo. Ah, Prince Heinrich would be a good shot. Assuming you can clear the island. He is slowing down and turning in, though. The Vermont super ship should have French destroyer speed boost. Now, that would be interesting, Ash. Ah, I hate that. It looked like you could get your rear turrets off, too, but you couldn't. There you go. So right now, DeLupus is just playing goalie, which is fine. Looking at the team, your Hill is, well, he's suiciding. There he goes. Your team is marching down the 9-10 line. So that means that they're going to be kind of focused to the 1-2-3 line. So I think you kind of lazily making your way over here is not a bad idea. Elba turned in. You fired that pretty snapshotty there. And I think you're better off, because of the slow reload of these battleships, I think you're better off actually waiting and just kind of observing your target. And what you're trying to do is you're waiting for that target to just straighten up and then stop turning altogether. If they're like this Aoba, I wouldn't bother shooting the Aoba. I'd be looking more I mean, he's the only thing you could shoot at right now, I suppose, but if you had another target... Actually, you could shoot the Königsberg on the other side of the map there. He might be a better target for you. Classic Tony Hawk skating song? There you go. Alright, you see the Heinrich coming in? I always felt like the Japanese battleship line as being a very anti-battleship line. Like, they're really good at targeting other battleships.
They are, and when they're battle in, you just can't pin that battle unless you overmatch it. Especially Yamato.
Oh yeah.
They're also really good at making cruisers think they're, well, at keeping cruisers at bay, because no cruiser wants to get near them, no cruiser wants to angle against them.
Right, exactly. Too high. Unless he turns out, which he's been moving a lot like that, so it's again where I was talking about, you observe their behavior. Now you're zooming in and following the shells, which is okay, but I want to point out, you had bow shells ready to go. So you had the ability to fire the second round there, and you lost that because you were watching your shells come and fly in. Really brilliant Scott here. I apologize, I don't understand that reference. I've watched Scott a few times, but I didn't know he had a signature move associated with him. Daystepper, I do too. I learned on the standard. Well, actually, that's not true. I use, what is this, Type 13, Type 7, something like that, reticule, because I like having the angles here to help me kind of follow along and aim. Generally speaking, at this point, I kind of know where the tick marks are. It just makes it easier to, you know, for ships that are angling, line those shells up. Now, I don't like you turning this way. And the reason I don't like you, well, now I don't mind it, was that Fubuki was last known spotted heading north, and you could have very well, like, gone right into his torpedo salvo. So, also, hold your shells here for the, never mind, for the Königsberg. He died. Ultra long-range salvo on the Fubuki of all things. Nothing. That's right, kitten. 2 rules for giveaways. Got to be a follower and present to win. Puddin'! Something funny. Thank you for the sub, Puddin'. Good to see you again. Had you stayed where you were before, you could have blocked the New Mexico, the Gneisenau, and the Prince Heinrich, but moving this direction, I kind of feel like is almost too passive. I think had you been there, you could have projected your power and prevented the enemy from pushing into your cap. Turning southward puts you in potential risk of maybe the Colorado, depending on where he's cutting away towards. Obviously, the carrier can farm you easier because you're kind of by yourself here. And soon, you'll be in risk of getting whacked by the Prince Heinrich. You can definitely take that shot at a destroyer, sure. At maximum range, though, for me, with the battleship, I'd rather look for other good opportunities. Nice torpedo kill by the Nuremberg right there. Now, keep in mind that Prince Heinrich did still have torpedoes on the starboard side, and he could have fired them at you. So after the salvo, you need to turn in my opinion. And just an overpin. I would turn northward and flip my guns. You've got a Z-39 to deal with, the New Mexico, Gneisenau, and a Königsberg, and the only thing that's stopping them is you, Nuremberg, and the Ark Royal. Well, Ash, I wouldn't say he's one of those players, because frankly what he's doing makes a lot of sense. There's the Citadel, finally. It makes a lot of sense because you want to protect your spawn, right? You want to protect your cap. I just disagree with his positioning. I agree with his ideas, but I disagree with his positioning. I understand about veteran WoW, so there are community that I keep in mind. True. pirates tried the star reticle once. The angle lines didn't seem to line up in any way that made sense. Been using default since 2015. It takes a while to get used to the angle lines, but again, like I said, I find them helpful. So the loop is heading south. I mean, you'll get the opportunity shots on the Colorado for sure. But exactly what I was just about to say, standalone. And DeLupus, you're welcome to comment in on your line of thinking if you want. I know you're here in the chat. You know, I don't like this. You're now going broadside to the Colorado shots. Ow. I think you would have been better off turning in. Also, flip your guns. You got to be looking back up north. The Ark Royal is going to start getting pounded by these battleships here. Yeah, you realize you need to get back to base. Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. Nice kill. Let me think back here. So this is Nagato. Ganiza now pushing forward. Doing exactly what you'd expect him to do, right? Go right after your carrier. Yes, it does help you when you got spotter plane up. That's right, Seabear. Mom's calling you to cook scones. Take care. Well, thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate that. Katakoizinos. Probably mispronounced completely, but thank you for hanging out. It was good to see you. Hopefully I'll see you again, maybe tomorrow or whenever. I'll see you next time. Now you're lucky that the Z39 is farther back, because this is going to give you a brilliant shot here on the Ganiza now. There it is. Heal time, by the way. You need to heal. You're at max heal potential, so you might as well heal. There's nothing that's keeping you from healing. Also, I would have used the opportunity approaching the island to get into a kiting away positioning instead of a bow in position that you're in. Because now you're forced to stay bow in so that you don't take penetrating hits from the Ganiza now, and that makes it easier for the Z39 to torpedo you. So, I don't know that I like the decision to go in like this. Yep, here comes the New Mexico with angle. Oh, wait. That's HE cells on the Nuremberg. So you got lucky there. You can't really shoot with spotter plane, but you have hit destroyers. So actually, Daystepper, there's a mod that you can download for AS-lanes. I don't know if it's on Mod Station or not, but it's called ODTO camera, battle camera. And when you have that, if your plane is up, if you zoom out one tick with the mouse wheel, it actually goes to standard view. See, this is what I'm talking about. You took that torpedo because you turned in. There was no need for you to take that torpedo. And it took, because you took so long to use your heal earlier, there goes that sound again. Because it took you so long to get that heal going earlier, well, now look at this. You are stuck waiting longer, essentially, for that heal to come up. So this is a great teaching replay, so I'm really glad that you sent this one in. New Mexico showing you a good amount of side, that's nice. Now, Nuremberg has Hydro going. If I were you, I would turn left and fall in behind the Nuremberg. Let the Nuremberg spot the torpedoes for you. You know. Yeah, I don't use the port camera, I just use the battle camera. Mine, there would be plenty of don't do that. That's okay, Mardraco. That's how we learn, right? You learn by making mistakes. You learn by understanding why certain mistakes are mistakes and how you can recover from them. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, on a New Mexico, generally, I try to hit the front part of the bow there to hit just underneath the second turret. I find I get a lot of good citadels that way with battleship action. Here comes some torpedoes on you from Z39. Hydroships are your best buddies, absolutely. Now you're going to turn right into this torpedo, take it on the face. There it is. Heal time. Heal time. There you go. You're healing now. Good. And there's the kill. And the other guy died. Turn your... Now, I would turn my rudder back in towards the Z-39, just on the off chance that he did get one last rack of torpedoes off. It's just a habit that I get used to. But hey, you made the thing happen. So that's good, right? Some don't even learn by making mistakes 1,000 times. Well, Ripper, I think part of it is, in order to learn, you have to understand, first of all, that you made a mistake. You have to be willing to look at that and say, what could I have done better? And then from there, you have to say, what can I do to make things better? I think one of the problems, and I see this as a teacher all the time, people don't like to make mistakes. And if they do make a mistake, they don't own that mistake. And they blame it on something else. More importantly, they look at it as a one-time shot. I will make one attempt, and if I fail, I will not do it again. As a teacher, we do retakes and stuff like that. Students never retake tests. Can't believe how easy it is to get grades high these days in school. And it doesn't work because I believe as a culture, we're afraid to make mistakes, and when we do make mistakes, we don't want to learn from those. So that's my soapbox for you. But that's why you guys are all here, right? That's why this channel exists. It's to help identify those mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And I've had a lot of people, not to toot my own horn, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they're better players because of this channel, which honestly makes my day. Anytime I hear that, it's like, awesome. Daystepper, that's correct. 2 racks did get launched in that Z-39 engagement. I just, as a force of habit, that's just what I do, because when I'm in the moment, I might not notice the racks that were launched. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. I just get in the habit. You get in the habit, then you don't have to worry about it. It's less additional thinking you have to make. Spend most of your time kiting and turning at the same cap this morning, but never left it. When I was a kid, I always opened with PKR4. I met a real chess player, and he beat the crap out of me, showed my mistake. There you go. Now, look at the plane's direction. The carrier's over here. So at this point, I'd forget about... I mean, you got 2 choices. One is to group up for anti-air. That's probably the smart choice and long-range smart choice. Your alternative would be to turn straight for the carrier and let him farm you with the hopes that you'll see the Ranger and get at least 1 salvo in before he kills you. Well, testify to that, Zatho. You only ever reviewed my Shino no Me replay as estimated profit. Well, one of the problems, Prophet, is... I really don't like to play favorites, so I won't take people's replays, and obviously people who sub, sure, there's that, or you've got channel points you can use for cover my replay. But the thing is, like, when it comes to picking out replays, here's a hint for you: if you want to get your replays covered, and you're not using channel points and you're not using subscriber, which is fine. The easiest way to do that, one, is to submit a replay at the start of a new patch cycle, because patches invalidate all replays, so there's a smaller pool. And then 2, send me ships that replays in ships that I don't have a lot of, or if there's a special new game mode, let's cover that new game mode, like clan battles or ranked, or the convoy game mode that was recently, or something like that. And then, of course, if there's other ones like that. Oh, I know you're not... I didn't take it as you complaining at all. I'm just kind of mentioning, if you want to get more of your replays covered, those are some general ideas to kind of, help. And that's for everybody listening, frankly. I don't like to play favorites. I don't write down who sent in what replay. I just put them all in my pile. And then I pick through that pile the ones that look interesting in terms of the game mode or the type of ship. Now, you've decided to hell with this carrier. Somebody earlier said, what about going to their cap? Since the Leon and Nuremberg are doing that, that to me is the safe option, right? You get to the cap, and then together you shoot the planes down. You got 10 seconds left. You're not going to get a kill on the Ranger. Excuse me. All that's going to happen is the Ranger's going to get an opportunity to drop a salvo on you, and those shells will cost you money, and they have no chance of hitting. Of course you're my favorite Brazilian community manager. Of course you are. All right, so this is something new that I want to kind of add to this, to replays. When we do replay reviews, I want to take some time and take a look at the actual replay itself. And that means that, you know, it takes a little bit longer to get to stream raiders and stuff like that, sure. But, you know, I kind of feel like it's nice to be able to look at the top-down view. Now, take a look at your Nagato, and let's take a look at how you're reacting to situations. As a matter of fact, let me turn my camera off for a second so you guys can just kind of watch the enemy spawn. You can see the enemies pushing up the 1-2 line. So when that happens, you want to be on the 1-2 line, or at least head into like the 3-4 line, or maybe 5, to head off their attack. Now, a key moment is about to happen, and that key moment, right there, you turned around. Right there, in my opinion, what you should have done is stopped and reversed. You stop and reverse because you can control the engagement. And what I mean by that is you have the flexibility, if you wanted to, you have the flexibility to turn around and, you know, or I should say to hit W key and speed up and get out of there, right? If you start getting overwhelmed. You didn't do that, though. And as a result, you kept going. Now I'm gonna continue the video, and you can see now from the top-down perspective where you're moving. And it's like you're afraid to get into the fight because you know that you're in a Japanese battleship, which is a low performance at close range, right? And because of that, you keep moving. But this turn in here is highly sus. And I kind of feel like instead, I would have rather seen you move to the Charlie 7 line and turn your guns. Basically, kind of what I was doing in ranked earlier to protect the carrier. Because you know that they're going to shoot the carrier over you anytime. Okay, Alex says, damn, I'm old. That's okay. I feel old too. But I also feel very, very energized because of the energy drink. So there's the Ark Royal getting killed. Now you finally turned around northwards. Here's another key moment right up here. Right up here. This was your opportunity to turn into a kiting way position and basically head straight for that Nuremberg. The island prevents you from doing a full kite away, but that would at least give you the ability to make that turn out safer than after you're already being engaged by the New Mexico Knights. Now, you're very fortunate that the New Mexico had HE loaded and he cared about killing the Königsberg and not you. All right, and now you're up against the New Mex. And then you're going to bow turret the Z. There it is. And then here's the other part. This is where, honestly, against a really good carrier player, you could have initiated the throw maneuver. Because you're all like, we're just going to go straight for their cap now. What you need to do here, long term, pair up. Move to the Leon, move to the Nuremberg, work together with anti-air. You did that for that strike. And then you just said, to hell with this. And then you just went off on your own. You didn't have that. You didn't have confidence that the Nuremberg was going to get into cap. You didn't need to worry about that. Thing about that, DeLupus, when it's a single cap, it takes what 2.5 minutes to cap out, something like that. So you've got time. And there's the end. In general, I'd say it was a slow ship like New Mex and not a faster battleship that could have caught him broadside multiple times. Right, exactly. So you got very fortunate there. A lot of good opportunities to hit you that the enemy did not take. So great learning opportunity. As you can see, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get the replays now, but hopefully this gives us an opportunity to look at the replay and really learn from that, looking at those key moments. Chat, did I miss any key moments? Is there any commentary you'd like to provide on this? And I'd also love to know, obviously we're putting this out on YouTube.